Hello everybody, welcome to the Vintage Contessa in Times Past. I'm the Contessa and this is Count de Monet because somebody's got to count the money. I'm a handbag and jewelry girl and this guy is the ultimate watch guy. And you're kind of a car guy too. In fact, I think you're a little bit like James Bond.
And speaking of James Bond, our first watch we're going to talk about this morning is the Submariner. So this watch here was made famous by James Bond in his early movies, which has become an iconic watch in the sports watch market. A Submariner is made for the scuba diving world, but it was also James Bond sporty when he's driving his Aston Martin with his pistol on and running around. But they developed other models when they were making the watch later on. They made a two-tone one, steel and gold. Then for the more blingy guys that want to pretend to be sport fishermen, but they want their Rolex, they wear the big gold one. And then they made a much, much beefier one for professional divers. But this is a two-tone, more blingy version of that, made for the undersea demolition and diving people.
We are a James Bond loving family, and I kind of think of myself a little bit as a Bond girl. Miss Galore might be the one that I like, and boy are her parts amazing. Rob, tell us a little bit about the Rolex parts.
On that note, we'll start talking about watches. So the first thing I do when I pick up a Rolex, if it's a new watch someone brought to me, is I feel it. I run my hands around it. Is it a finished, nice piece of jewelry? Is it sharp? How does it open up, the clasp? How does it look inside? Does the printing look good? The crown, does the crown look like a Rolex crown? Does the bezel turn nice in one direction? They're supposed to spin in the one direction, the new ones. And after I do my basic inspection and feel that this has a shot at being real, then I'll take the watch and I'll remove the band. At the 6 o'clock side, on the older watches, the serial number would be there. On the more modern watches, the serial number is just under the crystal at 6 o'clock. Same location, just they moved it to the inside. If that looks real to me, then I'll remove the band at the 12 o'clock position. This will give me a model number. That's consistent on all the modern Rolexes and the vintage Rolexes. The older watches had 4 digits, the new ones have 5 and 6 digit numbers to designate what the watch is. Then I run my hand around the bezel. How does the bezel look? I'll look at the crown. Then I'll take my loop out. I'll take my loop and I'll loop and look at the printing and all the writing on the dial to make sure it looks right. If all that looks good, I'll go over the rest of the band, double check the end pieces, make sure how it looks, and if I think the watch is real, I'll stop there. If I'm still a little bit cautious, I open up the watch and there's a whole bunch more techniques we can look once we get the watch open.
For me, I can spot a fake Birkin from across the room. How can you spot a fake Rolex?
Well, I have a great analogy. One of my buddies talked to me years ago. He goes, all day long, we deal in oranges. And you've got a showcase full of oranges, and then someone comes in with a grapefruit on their wrist, and you just look and you go, that can't be real. It's what's wrong with it. The color's wrong, the shape's wrong, the way it lays on the wrist is wrong, the printing is wrong. Then sometimes you also look at the person who's wearing this watch, and then you get a good shot at what can be fake. There are a lot of basic styles of Rolexes out there. In the sports models, my favorite are the Submariners, the GMTs, the Daytonas. Well, let's dive into these a little bit. Daytona is the iconic watch. This was made popular in the 60s by Paul Newman and race car drivers, etc. It's awesome watch. It's developed in time to be a much bigger and cooler watch than the original version. This is 1960s, this is 2015. Another great watch that everyone talks about is the GMT. They say the Pepsi GMT, Pepsi referring to Red Blue. GMT means Greenwich Mean Time. It's made for pilots. It has a fourth hand that tells AM, PM, or a 24-hour time for pilots. Without getting too complicated, pilots need to know what time it is around the world and be at the same time always, or we would have a lot of problems. Explorer 2 is another great watch. This is a fantastic, similar version to the GMT, non-rotating bezel, but a fun, sporty, great-looking, manly watch. Rolex recently came out with the Sky Dweller. This is Ben Baller, big boy watch. Stainless steel, 18 karat white gold bezel, tells the day, date, and the month of the year you're in. Super cool, all compact, super complicated in a simple watch, but it tells you everything you'd ever need to know for time.
Today we've talked about a lot of great tips to authenticate a watch. Rob, you want to tell us a little bit? Recap?
Sure. First thing, how does the watch look when you first touch it? How does it feel when you run your hand around it? I mentioned sometimes watches will have pins to remove the bands. Rolex always uses screws just on the back. They don't have stickers on the back anymore. The older versions did. Lots of the counterfeits have fake stickers on the back with numbers that are made up. Then, does it all function correctly? On some of the watches that have extra functions, when you pull out the crown, does it change the date? Does it not change it? And then you start looking at the serial numbers on the inside of the band. We can look up all of those. When we remove the band from the watch, does it have the model number at 12 o'clock? Does it have the serial number at 6 o'clock? Or on the more modern watches, is it on the inside retaining ring? Then also, I always look at who's selling me the watch. It's great that you think the watch is real, but look at who's selling it to you. Is the person that's selling it to you someone that you can return it to? Or is this someone that you ran into on the street that says he needs money for his gas or some other crazy story? Know who you're buying it from, trust who you're buying it from, do your homework. Don't be greedy. Don't think someone's selling you a watch that's worth $10,000 for $500 because they're down on their luck. Nobody's that dumb.
Generally, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. Here at the Vintage Contessa and Times Past, we offer you a lifetime guarantee. Everything we sell is authentic. You can come visit us in our showroom. You can check us out online at thevintagecontessa.com. And please subscribe to our new YouTube channel at The Vintage Contessa.